Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video we will take a look at the Fibonacci retracements. So it's gonna be something new and I hope interesting. So let me firstly explain the concept of this custom indicator, basically, because I will be coding a custom indicator in this video. And after that I will switch to the MT5 IDE and we will start coding. Also, sorry if I'm not that visible on your screen. There's sun shining right on me, so if you can see me, I'm sorry, but I think that's not an important part. So yeah, let's start. So here you can see that I have already added a ZigZag indicator on my chart, and that's because I will be using a ZigZag indicator in order to find local highs and local lows. So if you are not familiar with ZigZag, basically it creates these lines which show you the highs and lows. So in this case, this is our local high, this is our local low, and this is like this doesn't show anything to us because it's like current price. Okay, so yeah, so this is what ZigZag indicator shows us. And what we will do is that we will firstly recognize whether we should draw Fibonacci retracements from high to low or from low to high. Okay, so this is the first thing. And the second thing is that we will create Fibonacci levels. So I will show you how it will look like. So basically in this case we would go from high to low because low was more recent, like this, and then we will draw these levels. Also, what do these levels mean? They basically show you where the price should come back. Okay, so usually it's somewhere between 38.2% and 61.8%. So the price should go somewhere in here and then make a pullback, basically. Yeah, so that's like how you use the Fibonacci retracement. And yeah, I hope everything's clear. It won't be that difficult, I would say. So let's get to the coding part, I guess. So I will open my MT5 IDE, which is right here, and this will be a custom indicator. So I will go to the indicators folder. I will find my YouTube folder right here, and I will create a new file, and let's call it Fibo retracement, something like this. And we will need 3 parameters, and all of them will be for the ZigZag indicator. So if I go back to my MT5 and I check out this ZigZag indicator, just 1 second, you can see that it takes 3 positional arguments: depth, deviation, and backstep. And these 3 inputs will be we have to add them as well to our script. So let's go back here and let's rename them. So depth, deviation, backstep, and I will here is initial value 5, here is initial value 3, and for depth, like the initial value is 12, I think, but I think we'll go with something like 36 because it will be just better. So let's click on next, and finish. Okay, so let me just check that I'm using the right size. Okay, so everything's perfect. So let's start. So I will just delete all of these comments right here because I don't need them. And yeah, let's get to it. So the first thing we have to do is that we have to somehow get the ZigZag indicator. In order to do that, we have to create a ZigZag handle, then load the ZigZag indicator into that handle, and then get the values out of the indicator. The issue with ZigZag indicator is that it's not a built-in indicator in MT5, let's say. It's a custom indicator, and working with custom indicators is a little bit more challenging than with a built-in indicators. So let's start. So since this is a custom indicator, we have to use a resource. So now I am typing the path to my ZigZag indicator. This probably will be the same for all of you, but just keep in mind that this also may differ. So it's indicators, examples, and ZigZag.ex5. I'll just check that this path is okay and I don't receive any errors, and it's okay. Great. And then below this I will create a ZigZag handle. Okay, so now on init function I will assign value to the ZigZag handle, and it will be a custom indicator. So I custom for current symbol, current period, and now I have to type the path to the ZigZag indicator one more time, but in this case I don't start with a double slash as I did right here. I start like this, and then the path is the same, so I'll just copy and paste it here like this. And then with custom indicators, you just have to input all of the inputs that go to that custom indicator, and in this case it's depth, deviation, and backstep. So by doing this, now we can use the ZigZag handle in order to get ZigZag values. So that's good. That's good. Now I will create a function which will be called get ZigZag. ZigZag values. Okay, and in this function I will get those values. Yeah. So let's firstly define a few things. So the first thing, it will be a constant, because this value won't change during the coding part. Okay, constant integer, and let's call it collect values. Okay, so now this means how many ZigZag values do we need. And if we check back our chart here, we know that we only need 2 values. Okay, so this is the first one, this is the second one. Yeah, so these are these 2 values that we need. But yeah, so now I'm not sure if I should. Okay, do you know what I will do, just to make sure, because sometimes there is an issue with the ZigZag indicator, let's say. So I will go for 3 values, so 1, 2, and 3, and then I will access only these 2. Okay, so that will probably be better. So collect values is equal to 3. Then I need ZigZag values array in which I will store all of the ZigZag values. Yeah, so that's that. And then I will also need an ZigZag index. Okay, by index I mean how many bars back did the either high or low occur. Okay, so in this case this low would have index of 26 because it was created 26 bars back, and this high would have index of 74 because it was created 74 bars back. So that's what this index does basically. And then what we will do is that we will go to the on init function and we will resize the arrays. So array resize ZigZag values, and we will give it a value of collect values, and reserve size is 0. And do the same thing for ZigZag index, so collect values and 0 as well. And now we have everything we need in order to get the ZigZag values. So let's start. So I will create a local variable called found values, in which I will keep track of the number of ZigZag values that I have already found. Okay, and initially it will be set to 0. Then I will create integer, let's call it index. Okay, so this is like the position that I want to check. Okay, so it will be set to 0 initially as well. And then I also need to create a temporary array, okay, which will be used for getting the specific ZigZag value. So let's do it. So in this case, I will use a while loop. So while found values is lower than collect values, therefore here I am saying I want to run this loop until I have found 3 values in this case. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. And then I want to do the copy buffer function. So this is simple. Indicator handle is ZigZag handle. Buffer number is 0. Starting position is equal to index, because we will increase the index as we continue. Count is 1, and we will store it into our temporary array. And then we will check. So if temporary array is not equal to 0, therefore we have found either high or low, then what we want to do is that we want to assign that value to the ZigZag values. So ZigZag values of found values is equal to temporary array at position 0, and ZigZag index found values is equal to index. Okay, so this is good. This is good. So after doing this, we just need to increase the found values by 1, because we have found our ZigZag value basically. And then outside this is if else statement scope, I want to increase the index as well. And this should be sufficient enough for us like to get those values. So I will go here on calculate function, and the first thing I will do is that I will calculate the get ZigZag values. Also, since this indicator basically only applies to the current price, okay, because we are not interested in the Fibonacci somewhere back here, we are only interested in Fibonacci right now, I won't create that for loop, which basically loops through all of the available data and then calculates those values for that data, because we don't need that. So I will just work outside any loop right here, just inside this function. Okay, so let's continue. So firstly, we get our ZigZag values. Then we need to know whether which was more recent, whether it was high or low. And this will be, I guess, now I'm thinking how to do this. Okay, basically it's very it should be simple. So now we get 3 values. Okay, so if we check it, this is our first value, so at position 0. This is our second value with position 1, and this is our last value with position 2. Okay, so now we know that our desired value is at position 1. Yeah, 1. So double, let's call it desired value is equal to ZigZag values at position 1, and also integer desired index is ZigZag values at position 1. And now we just have to figure out whether we are working with low or high. Okay, so that's the only thing that we have to figure out. And we can do it, I don't know, like this. So integer type of value, I don't know how to call it, to be honest. So if desired value is lower than ZigZag values at position 2, okay, that means that we are working with low, so I will assign it value of 2. And if this is not the case, then I will assign it value of 1, which will mean that we are working with high. Okay, so then I just can create basically if else statement, I guess. So if type of value equals 1, then working with high, else if type of value equals 2, then I am working with low. Okay, so now we get to the part where we basically recreate the Fibonacci retracement. Okay, so it's very simple. Basically, what we need to do is that we need to calculate the distance between the high and low. Okay, and then we calculate 38.2% based on the distance, 50% and 61.8%. And then we just need to make sure that we have those lines in the right order, basically. Okay, because if I would because in this case we went from high to low, so now what will happen if I go from low to high? Okay, you can see that the order shifts. Okay, so now it's reversed. So that's why I needed to know whether we are working with high or low, just to have these in the correct order. Okay, so what I will do, I will create a new function right here, which will be called something like draw Fibo. Okay, and here I will need a few positional arguments, I guess. So I will need double okay, firstly integer type. Okay, so now I know whether I should go from like up or down. Then I need distance, so I can calculate the Fibonacci ratios. And then I also need the anchor point, I will call it. So this is like from where should I start, okay? I don't know if I've explained this well. If I haven't explained it well, I'm sorry, just keep watching and it will be very, very clear to you. And I guess that this is everything I need. So let's start. So firstly, I will calculate all of the values that I need in order to be able to create those Fibonacci lines, and then I will work with those lines. So I will create some objects. Okay, so let's do this. So the first thing I need to do is that I need to calculate those ratios. Okay, so double I will 38.2, okay, which will be like equal to 38.2%, which will be equal to distance times 0.382. Okay, so this gives me those 38.2% of the distance. So I will do the same thing for 50, which will be equal to 50, and 61.8. 61.8. Okay, I hope I got those ratios right, and I did. Of course, with Fibonacci, you can add more of these ratios. You can go higher or lower, but these are like the most used ones, so I will stick with them for now. I will just change these ratios right here, and 618. Perfect. And now I need to create variables, or I need to know like at which price these lines will be. So let's call it, so price 382 will be equal, and now it will depend on the type, okay? So if type is equal to 1, therefore we are working with a high, okay? Then this will be equal to this anchor point minus 382. And if this is not the case, then it will be anchor point plus 382. Okay, so I hope this makes sense, because if we go back and I shift this here, sorry for this, now you can see that since I am working with low, I get this as an anchor point, and then I add the distance, so that's why it's anchor point plus the distance. Okay, so we get right here. If it were high, then we have this high, and I want to subtract that distance. Okay, so I hope that it's clear. And I will do the same thing for the following. So double price 5. So in this case, it really doesn't matter with which direction we are working with, because it's always in the half. Okay, so what I will do here the same thing, just like to keep the logic the same. Okay, but it really doesn't make a difference. And then the last one is 618, sorry. And I will just take this here, paste it here. Okay, so now we have everything we need. So what's the last step? The last step is to, okay, I'll just check how long this video already is. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. So what's the last step? The last step is that I need to draw these lines. Okay, so I will just create the lines of 61 per 0.8, 50 and 38.2. I won't be creating these upper and lower lines, and also not this line which basically connects those lines. Okay, so I will just create these three right here. And since it will be pretty same for all of them, I will create a function which I will then reuse in all of those, for all of those lines. Okay, so let's create function of void, and let's call it create Fibonacci level. And now I need to know firstly the price. Okay, so where should I create that level? Then I also need to know I will call it text, but it will basically just show me like this ratio. Yeah, but I will call it text. And I guess this is all I need. Okay, so okay, so let's do it. Okay, so let's create a string name which will be called text. Okay, we will keep it very simple. And then the first thing I will do is that I will delete the previous line that I've created with the same name. Okay. just to make sure that we don't repaint basically. And then I can create an object. So object create, oh, I forgot a few things here. So I also need to know the first time, because I will be creating a trend object, okay, which needs two date times basically. So object create 0 with name, object trend, and now the sub window is 0. The first time is first time. Then the price is price. The second time will be, I don't know, first time plus period seconds, period current, I don't know, times 15. Let's start with that. We'll see how it looks like, and price. Okay, and then I will just change the appearance a bit. So object set integer 0 name, object prop width will be equal to 3, object set integer 0 name, object prop color will be equal to color white, and that's for our line. Okay, and then I also want to create that text, so I will just now create a new name. Name is equal to text plus text, and I will do the same thing. So I will firstly delete the previous object with that specific name, and then I will create. So object create 0 name, object text 0 now time 1. So we want the text like at the end of the line, so I will take this right here, and I will just change this to 14 to leave us a little bit of space, and then I will draw it on the price. I hope that there will be a gap between the text and the line. If there is no gap, and then I will change the code so there's a gap. So, but let's just start with this. So object set integer 0 name, object prop color will be color white. So it, or let's go with color oh, white. Okay, why not white? And then object set string, so 0 name, object prop text, and it will be equal to the text. Okay, so now it occurred to me that you probably don't see the lower right corner because there's my webcam and I can really see it on the screen, so I guess you can see it. So I will just shift this now so you can like see the whole code. I hope this helps. And now I think that this should be okay. So let's proceed. So now I will call create Fibonacci level for price 328 with text which will say 38.2%. And first time, so this might be a little bit tricky. So it's I time. Or you know what? I will do a little change in here. I will use the time current because we always want to go to that current time, and I will just decrease this. Okay, so let's see if this works. So yeah, so simple. And now this is where we like need to know the index of that value. Okay, so let's just think about it a bit. We'll also need time index. Okay, so I will deal with that later. Now I just put it into a variable and I will put it here. So time index. And is there anything else? There's nothing else to do. So create fib level. Now I will do it like this. So 50. So this is 50%, and I will leave a gap between the text. and then this is 618, so 61.8%, and this looks nice, I guess. So let's finish this. So draw, you know what, I don't have to do this, I guess, because I put all of those conditions in there. Just 1 second, I will be right back. I just realized that I don't know where my turtle is, so 1 second please. Okay, sorry for that. So let's finish it. So draw Fibo. This is type of value. Distance is yeah. So this will be math absolute value. So I don't have to deal with like which is which. So zigzag values 1 minus zigzag values 2, and anchor point is desired value, and time index is desired index. So now hopefully this will work. I'm not 100% sure, but I guess that it should work. So let's check it. So let's open indicators, YouTube, and this is for Fibo retracement. So deploy it, and what do we see? We see, okay, so we see something like this. So okay, the first thing, I don't like the appearance. I don't like how it looks like. That's that's the first thing. But let's firstly like check if this works or not. So zigzag of 36 colors. I will change the color to red, to white, and width to 3. Okay, so this is our first. Our second. Okay, so this obviously does not work as intended. So does it change anything or not? Okay, so I don't like this because this doesn't seem to work. Okay, so let's find those errors. So the first thing that could go sideways is those zigzag values. So I will start by commenting out zigzag values at position 1 and zigzag values at position 2. Okay, so firstly we check if we get the correct zigzag values. So 157 should be this one, 157.98. Okay, so this is correct, and the second one should be 154.53. Okay, so the good thing is that we get the correct zigzag values. I will just check it one more time by changing the time frame. So for example, in this case, I know it's not visible to you, but it's 156, which seems okay, and 152, which seems okay as well. Okay, so we have correct zigzag values. So the next thing that could go sideways is the desired value and desired index and type of value. So let's check it out. So let's comment out desired value plus desired index plus type of value. So let's see if this is okay as well. So now Okay, so the desired, I have an issue with desired index because, like, I think this is the case because this is the current time and we go back 157 bars basically, which corresponds with the number of index which you can see right here, and this is not correct because this is not the right index. In this case, the right index should be this number 76 right here. So we will have to figure that out. But besides that, we get the correct type of value. So that's something that I like. And also we get the correct price, 156. Yeah. So the only issue is with the index. So let's figure out the index. And oh my god, so I hope that it's clear to everybody who's watching where the issue is. And oh my god, so it's ZigZag index, so now it works perfect. Yeah, so that's just perfect. Okay, so now we don't have any errors. So yeah, so that's it. Like, I know that this doesn't look that nice, and I don't like it either, but this is what we were aiming for. So let's just change the time frame. Let's just like explore this, play with it a bit. Okay. And one thing that I can change is that I can increase this number right here, 19, 20. This looks nice. And yeah, so this is okay, I guess. And you can see that this is what I was talking about. Yeah, so I said that the price should revert somewhere like in this distance between 38.2% and 61.8, 38.2 and 61.8. And for example, in this example, it did exactly that. Like, it doesn't work every time. That's clear, I hope, but still, it's a nice thing to see. So let's just experiment a bit. So I will change this to something like, I don't know, 12. So these are the initial values. And if I change the ZigZag to 12 as well, so here you can see that, yeah, this is the same thing. And just to check that this works, I will use the Fibonacci retracements right here, and you can see that it corresponds. Yeah. So 38, 50, 61.8. Okay, so I hope this was fun to code. It was pretty exciting, to be honest, and just some ideas on how you can improve something like this. Okay, so if you want to use this like in a real production, let's say in a real trading, what you would have to do is that you would have to create a piece of code which basically updates the Fibonacci. Okay, so for example, if the price continues in this sideways trend, let's say, without creating a new high or low, then what can happen is that the price will like go beyond these lines, and then it doesn't look nice visually. So that's one thing you should do. And that's the only thing that comes to mind. In the expert advisors, like, this can be used as well. Like, you can have something like mean reversion strategy, which basically aims for that Fibonacci retracement. Okay, so like you can also divide your take profit into three hits, let's say, your first take profit can be at 38, then 50, and then 61. And like you can explore a lot of things with the Fibonacci retracements. Now that I'm talking about it, it sounds pretty interesting to me. So I guess the next tutorial will be based on an EA and Fibonacci retracement. Okay, so I will do something like this. I will do a mean reversion strategy which aims at these levels. Okay, so this will be it for this video. I hope this was useful to you, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.